Patricia Vallone reporting from home with a CTV News update. That winter storm that dropped several inches of snow in our region yesterday is still with us. Some areas saw more snow this morning, others saw freezing rain. It made getting around today tough. Our Byron Scott has the story.
It was the area's biggest snowstorm to hit our area in a couple of years, and depending on where you are, dictated how much snow you saw. Either way, getting around yesterday or today was not easy. This was the scene on Route 202 in Largo this morning. Wet and in some spots, icy roads proved challenging for motorists. With more precipitation expected today, the challenge was trying to get ahead of it. One motorist had to get their car battery replaced, and at the Shoppers, one could see shoppers picking up a few things. It is where Mark Mazzullo was clearing the parking lot at the Largo Town Center.
Conditions today were very, very icy this morning, and we're trying to do the final touch-up here so we don't have another refreeze quite as bad as this one. We know it's going to freeze again, but we've got to get the majority of what's up right now before the sun goes down. Not that there is much sun, but before the temps get too far below zero, we've got to scrape this lot as best we can.
As for other matters, state police say yesterday was treacherous for motorists. Investigators say they responded to calls for more than 300 crashes. Prince George's Fire Department says it responded to 74 collisions between 8:30 yesterday morning and 10 o'clock last night. On the metro system, rail and metro access is operating on a regular schedule today, but on the buses, some service was suspended and detours were in effect in some areas. Shuttles were out clawing at snow and ice around our area. The county's Department of Permitting, Inspections, and Enforcement is reminding residents and business owners that you are responsible for clearing snow and ice on sidewalks adjacent your property. Failure to do so could result in a $100 per day fine. I'm Byron Scott.
Maryland reports nearly 1,200 new COVID-19 cases today, and the death toll continues to rise. The health department reports 27 deaths today. Statewide COVID fatalities are approaching 7,000. More than 355,000 Marylanders have contracted the virus since the start of the pandemic. As of today, Maryland has vaccinated 544,000 residents for COVID-19, and the average daily vaccination rate is up to 24,000. That, according to the governor's office. However, the state is only receiving 10,000 doses daily, with demand continuing to far exceed supply. Meantime, Hogan announced over the weekend that the new variant of the coronavirus, first found in South Africa, has emerged in Baltimore in an adult resident. New variants of the virus have been found to travel up to 70% faster than the common strain of COVID-19. The adult resident in Baltimore has not traveled outside of the country, making community transmission most likely. COVID-19 vaccination started over the weekend for Prince George's school employees. The County Health Department and Kaiser Permanente will be providing shots for them over the next 6 to 8 weeks. School CEO Dr. Monica Goldson and union representatives lined up with teachers and other employees for their vaccinations. Goldson says to accommodate appointments, teachers may not hold live classes and that they'll notify parents if there are changes to a student's schedule.
Okay, let me just tell y'all, that did not hurt.
That was it.
And I hate shots.
That was it.
And I have told PGCPS family that it did not hurt.
You okay?
Yeah.
So you can stay here.
Did you do it?
It's all done.
Now, Dr. Goldson says she will provide an update on schools reopening in mid-February. Giant food store pharmacies are now scheduling appointments for COVID vaccinations. To sign up, you must be in the state's 1A, B, or C priority group. Eligible residents can make an appointment online through Giant scheduling portal. Licensed in-store pharmacists will administer those shots. And starting tomorrow, the Transportation Security Administration will require all travelers to wear face masks when they are in airports, on planes, or while using public transportation. Passengers without masks may be denied entry, boarding, or continued transport. Anyone who refuses to wear a mask could face civil penalties. The requirement aimed at limiting the spread of COVID-19 will remain in effect until May 11th, 2021. And you are watching CTV News. I'm Patricia Vallone. We'll be back in just a moment.
For the latest information on COVID-19 in Maryland, visit the State Health Department website. That's health.maryland.gov. Again, health.maryland.gov. Click the link to the COVID-19 information portal. There you'll find all the latest information about coronavirus. You'll find daily updates on cases and fatalities. Answers to questions about testing and the governor's stay-at-home order are available as well. For specific information about Prince George's, visit princegeorgescountymd.gov. That's princegeorgescountymd.gov. The site offers information about local services for residents and businesses. There's a link for COVID-19 relief donations. Also, food pantry locations are listed. And if you have any questions, call the county COVID-19 hotline at 301-883-6627. That's 301-883-6627.
Welcome back. Well, county police are investigating 4 homicides and separate incidents that occurred between Friday and Sunday. The first occurred Friday night. Investigators say 21-year-old Nakia Stewart was shot to death in the 2600 block of Shadyside Avenue in Suitland. In another incident Friday, 32-year-old Shantice Gideon of Riverdale was found in the 5300 block of Hamilton Street in East Riverdale. She had been shot numerous times. Saturday night, investigators say 48-year-old Sharon Redding was killed in her Upper Marlboro home in the 12,800 block of Dunkirk Drive. And in the fourth incident, a man was found fatally shot about 12:30 yesterday afternoon in the 4,500 block of Dallas Place in Temple Hills. Police do not believe these homicides are connected. Well, Maryland becomes the 4th state in the nation to add racial impact statements to pending legislation. The change, which was spearheaded by Delegate Jazz Lewis, will add the statements to the regular fiscal analysis of bills. One of the first measures to be analyzed is data related to major criminal justice reform legislation. It will be compiled by Maryland universities and sent to an internal staff team at the Department of Legislative Services. According to numerous reports, COVID-19 is disproportionately affecting minority communities. And now there are concerns that increasing medical debt is widening the racial wealth gap between whites and minorities. In Annapolis, the nonprofit Maryland Consumer Rights Coalition is lobbying for several bills which would help rectify that problem.
You could have your wages garnished or your bank account completely wiped out to pay a medical debt. So the actions hospitals are taking are really disproportionate in terms of the impact they're going to have on low-income and working families across the state.
Well, as people of color, no, because those are the ones most impacted by COVID.
Absolutely. So that's another reason. I mean, in general, communities of color tend to hold higher debt than white communities because of the racial wealth gap and lack of access to credit. But particularly with COVID, we know that many of the essential workers are Black and brown workers, and because of housing and structural decisions in the past, they are much more vulnerable and susceptible to COVID as well. If they have heart damage or lung damage, none of that is covered under current law in terms of being protected. So it's particularly important as a racial equity issue and an economic rights issue to address these high-cost medical debts.
For more information on the legislation, go to marylandconsumers.org. The 2 Prince George's sisters are lending a helping hand. Nanette and Crystal Amahir's organization C&K Health Services donates masks and makes thank you notes for nursing home residents and hospital workers. So far, it's distributed more than 900 face coverings and cards. The group is also hosting a donation drive on February 6th for people in senior living facilities and in homeless shelters. It's seeking cleaning supplies, canned goods, gloves, and scarves.
Because of COVID, it's been like 10 times enhanced. You know, more people are like, you know, feeling lonely because they aren't able to go out as much. And, you know, it's affected the lives of many. And so giving back is just like a way to show that they are appreciated, whether it's nursing homes and elderly, or it's healthcare workers and nurses and doctors, or just like the employees in general. Getting back can actually, make a huge impact. Like to us, it might just, be giving a card, but to them it's like, feeling love that they haven't felt in a long time.
The distribution takes place at 15622 Old Columbia Pike in Burtonsville from 10 a.m. until 5 p.m. For more information, call 240-360-9126. The first day of February marks the beginning of Black History Month, and during this month, many Americans take part in events celebrating the accomplishments of African Americans, past and present. Now, the governor's issued a proclamation calling on residents to learn more about the contributions of Black Marylanders.
Benjamin Banneker taught us innovation and forward thinking. His contributions to science, astronomy, and agriculture still impacts us today.
Harriet Tubman and Frederick Douglass taught us courage, both dedicating their lives to secure freedom for all African Americans.
To learn more about the contributions of Black Marylanders, visit the Banneker Douglass Museum for more information. And in NBA news, it was a thrilling win for Washington Wizards. Taking on Kevin Durant and the Brooklyn Nets last night, Russell Westbrook scored a game-high 41 points and a big win for Washington. Bradley Beal and Westbrook hit back-to-back three-pointers in the last 8 seconds to pull off the upset. It's the second time this season the Wizards have beat the Nets, one of the best teams in the league. Washington will take the court again tomorrow night against Portland. Well, the snowy weather brings a winter wonderland for kids across the state. Those residents were having fun in the whiteout yesterday evening. As flakes hit the ground, one family played in the snow with their 3-year-old son. Another man was even making a fort for his dog, and 3 young boys were pelting each other with snowballs in a fort that they built earlier in the day.
We put like this ice stuff because it was like slush at the beginning, but when it hits snow and it stays there for a little bit, it kind of turns into ice, and it's super strong. And this is me and Andrew's fort, and we're gonna put like some, like that brick builder, we're gonna put some slush in it and turn it to ice and put it like here, so like when we have the snowball fight, we can put our heads there and be all hot hidden.
And moving on now to our weather forecast. Tonight, a winter weather advisory will remain in effect until midnight. Expect mixed precipitation throughout the evening with a high near 33. Tuesday, cloudy with a chance of snow showers. Wednesday, mostly sunny, a high near 37. And Thursday, it'll be mostly sunny with a slight chance of rain mixed with snow flurries once again. And that wraps up our newscast. I'm Patricia Vallone. Have a great evening.
You're looking at me in the future. Okay. Hi, Isaac.
Hi.
Wait a second. Do you know who I am? Julia. This is Jaina. Into the future. I just wanted to talk to you about what happened with those 2 girls. Oh, yeah? Do you remember it was this girl that I was getting bullied by that one day at PE when they were like yelling at me, and then you just linked arms with me? I don't think you know how much like that helped me, because like I finally like knew that I had somebody. Because of you, Isaac, and what you did for me years ago, I grew up to be more independent and love myself and just be a little bit more confident.
Aw, I'm like a little tearing up right now. Just to see her in the future just blossom and look beautiful, and that was really amazing.
There was a time in my life where I was extremely homesick. I decided that I needed a pet. When I first saw a turtle, my heart was full. He jumped up and kissed me and like jumped right into my arms. I immediately went up to the volunteers at the shelter and said, I want him, like he's gotta come home with me. Now I'm anything but lonely. Every day with Turtle is a perfect day and keeps me company when I'm doing schoolwork. I like it when he jumps up on the table too. He is a veggie thief. He's an incredible companion and my best friend. Can't say that I've met anybody that doesn't love him too. When I adopted Turtle, I discovered all the things that make him unique. He's a little bit of a lot of things, but mostly he's all pure love.